Good evening and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Business. I am your host, Sonny Vinuya, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight, we are going to talk about the importance of credit as it relates to business. I have a special guest that will be joining us soon. She'll be giving us more insight into the subject. But first, let me start by giving you a quote. So for anyone looking or even thinking of starting your business or having a business has been your lifelong dream, listen to this one. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to help build theirs. This quote is actually by Dhirubhai Ambani, who is a founder, owner of Reliance Commercial Corporation, a company he dreamt of, started, and grew to $2.9 billion company at the time of his death. So the morale, of course, of that quote is, if it's truly your passion, give it a shot. And I was looking at that and I'm like, wow, this really relates to our show, especially to a lot of people. It's very, sometimes it's overwhelming to think of starting your own business. But you'll never know. At least by giving it a shot, you know if it's something that's truly something that you like to do, something that you're passionate about. And as long as you give it your all, give it 100%, should be good, you know. At least you can say that you gave it a try and you gave it all. All right. So after that, we're definitely going to cue in our special guest for tonight. Her name is Elisha Jones. I will let her talk to you, tell you more about her, but she is the founder, owner of Credit Diva, a credit repair company. So let's welcome her in and let's talk about credit. Elisha?
Hi, thank you so much, Sonny. Such a pleasure to be here.
No, thank you so much for coming. So let's start by telling the audience first, tell them about your company, what you do, and how to contact you.
Sure. Well, I've been in business for 18 years. We have a wide range of different types of programs when it comes to credit repair, whether that's for personal or business. We're definitely here to help you. There's all different walks of life of different types of credit issues, whether you're just trying to build personal credit or business, or maybe you've had some life changes and some things have happened and it's really affected your personal and business. With that, you know, there's different types of programs that we can help you to obtain so that you can definitely get that financing and get those scores to where you need to be.
Thank you so much. And this, just to a quick testimony, Elisha has been one of our main partners. We refer to Elisha when it comes to credit repair. Believe it or not, there's a big percentage of our population that needs credit repair, and it really pops out when you are buying a house, for example, or applying for a business loan. So, actually, that said, why is credit so important? Of course, we all know as far as personal needs are, you need to have good credit to be able to buy a house, a car, sometimes be able to get a job, right? And of course, it saves you money. But Elisha, as far as our show is concerned, how about business? Why is credit so important when it comes to business?
That is such a good question. So many people have a misconception of basically when it comes to business credit. They think maybe they have a fantastic business and they have a substantial amount of money in their business account. So they feel like they are absolutely credit worthy of being able to walk into a bank and get whatever type of loan that they need for their business. When in actuality, a lot of times in most cases, 7 out of 10, they realize that they're not even business credit worthy. They don't have a decent paydex score. Just because you've been in business for a long time doesn't mean that you have that structure that's been set up properly to be able to obtain those type of loans for your business. And also, you know, a lot of people too thinking, hey, I'm ready to open up that business. And they think because they have great personal credit, they think that they can go buy everything for this business. When in actuality, sometimes these banks and lenders, they want to see a strong paydex score in that business credit as well. So you want to be healthy on both sides, not only on the personal, but you want to have your business structure built out properly, and you want it to be healthy so that at any time you need to obtain financing, it's there for you.
I know. I'm sure you remember when we had the downturn in about, what, '07, '08, or even around 11 or 12. We had a number of small business owners, for example, that thought, you know what, I'm just going to let go of my house, for example, or things like that, without realizing the impact of doing that to their credit had, like, with their business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, currently right now, Sonny, we all have seen such a wide range of so many small businesses that are extremely in dire need of financing. And a lot of them think just like how you had mentioned, letting that personal house go, letting all of their personal credit and loans go to the wayside. And then here they are, they've got a small business and now they need financing. And so the problem is that when they go to get that financing, they're discouraged because they've been turned down and they're misled, and they think that just having that business credit is the only important thing at that moment because they're dealing with a small business, when in actuality they need to have a good, strong personal credit too. Not necessarily does the personal credit need to justify the lending on the business, but it needs to show that they're credit worthy. They have a strong background. They're paying their bills on time. And then also, building out that business structure so that all those entities are input properly and can make them that strong paydex score. Because, being in the banking industry and seeing different walks of life in business, some people may not have a very strong paydex score, but they could have a good personal credit. And maybe they just never built out that business structure properly. They never found somebody that could help them. And that's what we're the expert at. And we've done it for 18 years, and we're here to help.
Awesome. You're right. One of the C's, of course, when you're applying for a business loan is credit. Of course, it's very important. It's your history, and it's kind of like your propensity to pay again. Tell us, just give us a couple of examples of what might be the consequences of not having good credit when you're applying for a business loan.
Sure. So, for example, I could kind of give you a example of a client that just recently came to us, owning 4 different businesses, feeling that he was extremely strong in that business structure. And when he went to get a loan through Chase Bank, thinking that, hey, he was good, they did run his personal. And because his personal credit cards were completely maxed out, he did have a few small hiccups that were from years ago. But the red flag was that his utilization was so incredibly high that it had lowered his scores to a substantial amount. So really, technically, he should have been maybe around an 800 credit score. And he was sitting at that 648 and was completely in shock that it was affecting him on applying for this large business loan.
No, I agree. I had another example similar to that where years ago in a former bank that I work with, we had a client who had an approved loan, and during the process, before signing the loan documents, bought a Porsche. And of course, they checked credit again, and it lowered his score so much that we changed. We couldn't do the loan for him. So, but anyway, okay, let's go on a quick break. When we get back, we're going to start talking about the process of getting credit repaired.
Sure.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Welcome back. Thanks again for tuning in. Joining us today, Elisha with the Credit Diva, talking about the importance of credit in business. So we were just talking about the consequences of having bad credit in business. some of the challenges that you can get. So let's start talking about what is the process of getting credit repaired? How does that even start?
Sure. So most importantly is when a client comes to us in need of credit repair, whether it's building, whether it's having negative items that may be inaccurate information reporting to the credit portfolio, we start at the beginning, just kind of finding out how did they get here? Did they go through a bankruptcy? Did they have a loss of a job? Kind of understanding where this transpired so that we can help them in moving forward to have some good, healthy credit issues. We want to have all good moving forward, from that standpoint. So when a client comes to us, we find out, kind of what they have that's reporting negative on their file and letting them know that whether it's negatives, maybe they have some items that may not even be theirs, and explaining how we can help them to improve those scores. Also, you'd be so surprised at how many clients don't have any revolving, which are credit cards. They feel like, hey, if I had all these things deleted, maybe they've been trying to work on their credit and not understanding why their scores are not moving. So during the process of getting started with us, we look over their entire structure, all the way from public records down to inquiries, looking at what they have that may be reporting inaccurate. Maybe some of it could be theirs, some of it may not be theirs. Looking at the utilization as well, seeing if we need to tweak and change anything. A very common mistake that people make is their utilization is so high and they don't realize that that affects your credit score tremendously. So, having a credit card 1 penny over 30%, can really affect the credit scores. Also having a zero balance too. So during that process, we take them through a secure portal link. They're going to fill out their personal information. It is a 1-year contract. That 1-year contract is not stating that they're locked into it for a year. It's basically to protect them, that we as a company are going to do our due diligence for an entire year on their credit portfolio. And then we ask them, there's some information that we would need them to fill out and provide us with a driver's license, a bill in their name. The great thing is once they do get started, they are going to have results at between every 30 and 45 days.
Wow. Okay.
So, which is great. And, a lot of people say, well, hey, I've only got one item on here. Why would I need to stay with you for a year? Well, the reason why you want to stay with us for a year is because you want to continue to be improving those credit scores and get that credit portfolio to the highest level that you possibly can. Because one, a lot of people are not aware of is that your car insurance, in most cases, 80% of your policy is based off of your credit scores. That's huge.
Yes.
You can save a substantial amount of money that way. Or let's say a client needs to refinance. They can save money on their homeowner's insurance and car insurance. So during that entire year, we're here to walk them through and just really position them so that they have a healthy credit portfolio in moving forward.
Awesome. Realistically, well, you kind of answered it a little bit, but how fast can they really get results in getting their credit repaired?
So every 45 days, they're going to have results. We've seen some cases that clients are ready fairly quickly. They came to us with a very low credit score, and within that 4 to 6 months, they're already signing and purchasing a home. So it just really depends on their actual credit portfolio. But, if they really listen to what we suggest, they follow the program, they're going to have incredible results, and it's going to be a great investment for them, and it's there for their future. If they use it right, it will be a great tool.
Actually, since you said that, my next question was, can you give some advices on how they can continue to maintain that credit once they get to the result that they want and just stay there?
Absolutely. So that is a huge factor in our program this for the entire year, is really educating them, letting them know that maybe past hiccups that they had on their entire credit portfolio, and moving forward what they can do to continue to improve those scores. Because nothing's better than knowing, hey, you've had a 720 credit score and you're like determined to get to that 800 credit score. And the ability and the doors that it will open for you, the sky's the limit. And if you're a business owner, it's going to open up so many doors for you, and it will just continue to allow you to be extremely successful.
Awesome. I'm going to assume that they could call and do free consultation before signing up.
Yes, absolutely. We always encourage that. You can always call us here at Credit Diva. We have a website that you can go to, which is iamcreditdiva.com. That is iamcreditdiva.com. And then you can reach us at 702-949-8449. And you can call us, you can email us through the website, and we're always here to answer any questions. You know, whether you become a client or not, the most important thing is we want to give you information that's going to set you up to win. So many people will call us, and it's devastating, some of the things that they're told that are so inaccurate, or they find that they want to jump on the internet and try to believe everything that the internet says. And before you know it, they're in the worst situation than when they started. So I educate them. Feel free to call us. We're all here to help. And most importantly is, hey, everybody deserves a second chance to get an incredible, healthy credit portfolio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Elisha. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for all that information.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with the Generations in the Workforce. All right.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Welcome back for our last segment. I hope you found that very informative. Really, credit repair is very, very important, especially for business owners. Now let's talk about generations in the workplace. Now you're probably thinking, okay, generations in the workplace. First of all, what is generations in the workplace? Generations in the workplace describes the five, depending on which article you look at, it's either 4 or 5 different generations that we have now currently working in our workforce. The first one are traditionalists. And this is the reason why we say 4 or 5. Some people omit this already because we have, I believe, less than 1% of our workforce in this particular category. So traditionalists are people that were born from 1928 to 1945. Some of the values that they hold, loyalty and helping, and the type of worker that they are strong work ethic and formal in nature. They are followed by baby boomers, people who are born from 1946 to 1964, and their values are hardworking and ambitious, and the type of employees that they are loyal and takes a job-centered mindset. So very workaholic. Then Generation X, 1965 to 1980, which is right now the largest pool of workers that we have in the workforce. Their values are low-key and independent, efficiency and innovation. The type of workers that they are, they're very independent and they're big on personal development. Now we have the Generation Y, which we love to call millennials. These are people that are born from 1981 to 1996. The values that they have are meaningful work and use of creative skills. And as far as the type of employees that they are, they like their work to be evaluated through their success and not effort, pretty much. And then lastly, we've got the Generation Z, which are people born from 1997 to 2015. They value, they prioritize authenticity, truth, and connectivity. And the type of worker that they are, they're very flexible with their work environments. Now, why is this important? Now, last week we talked about cultural competency, right? And why it's important for a business owner. Well, as far as generations in the workplace, the reason why it's so important, you can apply it to any part of your life. So if you, for example, if you are an employee and you're a leader in a big corporation, you will have you're going to have bosses or upper management people who probably belong to the baby boomers or different organizations there, or even millennials. And then you'll have employees under you who belong in a different category. You need to be able to understand what makes them tick, what's important to them, what their values are, enable for you to be able to communicate and manage them well. Same thing with your personal life, right? I mean, I'm not the perfect parent, but the one thing that I'm very proud of is I have a great relationship with my kids. And a lot of that has to do with this, understanding where they're coming from. I have two millennials living at home. So, I have to be able to relate to them. So now we go to you as a business owner. Well, as a business owner, you're going to have employees, and you might have different employees in these different generations. So again, it's about knowing what makes them tick. So for example, if you have two salespeople, one's a millennial, one is a baby boomer, one is more important on saving, the other is more important about having fun and maximizing their time. So it's two different priorities for them, and you need to be able to adjust as an owner in order to get the maximum, work from both of them, right? It's the same thing also if you are dealing with clients. If you decide to open a shop, but you're only catering to a certain clientele, you're limiting yourself. So you want to be able to do business with a lot of different people, a big range. And knowing how to deal with different types of people is very important when you own your own business. So that's the biggest importance of having or knowing the different generations in the workplace. You need to have diversity in your employee pool. That's another huge thing. So again, knowing how to deal with them is important, because right now, if you only have a particular pool of employees, you're only going to attract a part of the market, pretty much. And then another plus for that, having different life experiences in your work pool, your employee pool, is good for one another, because they can share experiences in life. They can teach the others. So, for example, if you have let's say a baby boomer who's not very good with social media, and you have an employee who's a millennial who's great with social media, well, guess what? Your millennial can teach your baby boomer how to use social media, how to be more effective using it, and guess what? You're going to have a more productive employee. So that's a big plus of having that, and of course the experience. And you are creating or boosting morale by having better relationships, not just you with your employees, but among themselves as well. But one of the things that we noticed, though, in researches since the pandemic, 25% of millennials and 22% of Gen Zs would prefer to work remotely. So I'll give you a great example on that. There are businesses now that are trying to adjust in having part of their workforce stay home. And a lot of that is because of babysitting issues. So to them, it's, if they can work productively from home, why not? Now, if you have a baby boomer manager who insists, no, they got to be in the office, well, okay. Then you can probably toe the line and they look at it in the middle. Okay, do they necessarily have to be here in the office? If most of if your business is not sales and they don't have to be in the office, let's say, or a store to sell, or even you could be in sales, but you don't have to be in an office. You could be a sales rep. Then why not allow them to be able to work from home, right? If you don't have foot traffic coming into your workplace, why not allow them to work from home? Baby boomers have resigned, leaving the workforce, which is one of the biggest reasons why we have shortages. 40% of our workforce who are baby boomers and up have decided to resign. And then 41% of millennials and 46% of Gen Zs feel stressed because of pandemic. And you could tell that is because of the type of employee that they are. They're very big on authenticity and connectivity. So there you go. That's the importance of having the different generations in the workforce, and not just knowing it, but really learning on how to deal with different generations. There's more on this that you can look at, but it's definitely something that it's worth investing in or taking a look at, or maybe even having your top people, your key people go through it so they can know and understand how to deal with other people. All right, that is our show for tonight. I hope you found that informative. Until next week, thank you again for joining. Let's talk business.